So for our lesson plan, we did science and ELA integration. This is by Caitlin Blackburn and Megan Adams. The standards we are hitting on in this lesson plan is 2.P.2.1, which is give examples of matter that change from a solid to a liquid and from a liquid to a solid by heating and cooling. And we did RL.2.1, ask and answer such questions as who, what, when, where, why, and how to demonstrate understanding of key details in a text. The book we are going to be using in this lesson plan is Snowmen All Year by Carolyn Booner. We're targeting second grade since this is a little bit easier book for students to read. We will be reading it out loud together and asking lots and lots of questions as we read it. But what we're trying to hit on is why ice and snow melt. And so our daily lesson objective is going to be that students will be able to explain why ice and snow melt using at least 2 second grade sentences. So that is what we are going for with this lesson plan. So we start out in our engage, and the teacher will leave a popsicle by the window and another one on the opposite side of the room where it is not as warm. And students are going to write down their predictions about what they think is going to happen to these popsicles. And after lunch, they will have a chance to go to each popsicle and observe what happened. They will see that the one by the window has melted a lot quicker because it's warmer outside. And the one that was inside in the cool lasted much longer. And they will record their observations in their science notebooks. So the Explorer is where we get into reading Snowmen All Year. So after we read it, we're going to have them fill out a T-chart, and they will come back together and discuss. On their T-chart, they are going to be filling out what do snowmen need to live, and on the other side, they'll be filling out what might make it hard for all the snowmen to stay all year. So a few things in the Explorer that we're going to hit on. One is going to be on page 2, why do snowmen only live in the winter? It would be the question we would ask on this page. So it begins talking about snowmen and how there's nothing but a snowman when the snowman disappears. And so why can't they live when it's not winter? Why in the summer do our snowmen go away? And that will definitely get our students thinking. Then we will move on to, once we hit page 7, we'll read all the pages, but once we hit page 7, we could stop and ask, what would happen to a snowman that went to the zoo? They can come up with all kinds of possibilities, use their imagination, and while they're doing all these things, they're using describing words, which just brings it all back to that ELA integration. And here on page 14, we could stop and ask, the sun is not out, so why can't the snowman live at night? And hopefully the students will start making connections to heat, and that maybe it's not the sun that melts it, but it's the heat from the sun. Then we can move on to page 18 and ask, what would happen if he jumped into a pool? And on page 25, we can stop and ask, why do you think that snowmen can't live all year? Then they will move on to that T-chart. And after the T-chart, we will move on to explain. So after having them fill out that chart, we will have the class come together and we will discuss all the answers. We will continue to explain it by having an ice cube, and they will observe what the ice cube is and what the characteristics are. They will, and the teacher will hold it in her hand tightly and cause it to melt. And they will write down their observations. And this is where they'll start making that connection to heat, and that heat is what causes it. And our bodies cause heat and all kinds of different things. And for the elaborate and extend, teachers will they will come together and have a class discussion about everything that they have talked about through the day. They'll look deeper into their T-charts, and they can really just pull it all together. For our evaluate, they're going to connect their thinking to the life cycle of a snowman, and they will work with a partner to illustrate and answer the following questions, which you can read here. So we'll ask what happens first, what happens next, and what happens when the temperature warms up. And these shown are just a few of the answers that we would expect from the students, but they will also be asked to illustrate, which will be really fun for them. But that is all that we have so far, or today. So this is our lesson plan with ELA integration and science. Thank you.